Welcome to the One More Boom podcast, where we are a different breed. This is more than just a space for oil field and pipeline professionals. It's a community built for those who refuse to settle for the ordinary. You're here because you're ambitious, resilient, and driven to excel. At One More Boom, we're both more than just work. We're both thriving under pressure, breaking new ground, and pushing limits. This is your place to connect, learn, and grow with others who live for the challenge. You're not average, you're a different breed. Welcome to the One More Boom community.
Well, good day, Dustin. Here we are with another One More Boom podcast, and absolutely appreciate you coming on the show here on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, thanks a bunch, Nick. We really appreciate the opportunity, and like you know, I've been following what you're doing, and I would like to also add some value to others as well, and I think you're doing a really good job for the community.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's always fun when you start doing something different outside the norm, and I believe that's a lot of what we're doing. It's good to hear it sometimes, because a lot of times you don't know what you're putting out into the ether is being listened to or being seen. So we definitely appreciate it.
I think it's awesome, and you know, I'm actually really thankful to be on here. You know, it's probably taken me a decade of my own personal development just to even gain the confidence to even do something like this. So
yeah, and you reached out to me, so that's pretty cool when that
yeah, absolutely. No, I think we got a good synergy here, and yeah, I'm ready for see what we can bring.
Oh, this is great. So I guess maybe give a little background on where you come from and where Dark Ark, that's your company, and what they're about, and we can start there.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Dustin Kucher. Me and my wife, Ashley Kucher, own and operate Dark Ark Welding. We're based out of Dawson Creek, BC. We are an Indigenous-owned company, and we specialize. We're a premier service provider for northeastern BC here. We do decommissioning, maintenance, turnarounds, and some construction as well.
Amazing. So how many employees do you have right now?
We have 57 employees currently, and we're actively hiring and growing. And it looks like we're going to have a good Q1 starting in January here. So things are picking up.
That's incredible. So 57 right now. And where did it start, I guess?
So kind of my origin story actually comes from really humble beginnings. I grew up in Chetwynd, BC, so that's only an hour away from here. But we grew up in a trailer park, and really I had no idea what oil and gas was, or really what any industry was for that matter. So kind of to take it way back, I basically did a dual credit program through Northern Lights College, which was in welding. So I did my welding, got out of school, I got an apprenticeship, and was a welder's helper with a family friend there. And he had a tall task. He had to basically take me from ground zero and make me at least competent to not hurt myself. So, and he did a good job of that. And I finished my apprenticeship. So 3 years later, I was a journeyman and rigged up my own truck and kind of started the Dark Ark business here.
Oh, man.
Yeah, from there, I met my wife, Ashley, in 2012, and she's been a huge part of the business success. She started off as my welder's helper back in 2012, which wasn't her first choice of jobs, to be honest.
I bet.
Yeah, no, it wasn't her first choice, but she has a strong administration background. So as the company grew and we started getting some other team members, she took over all the administration side and now has her own team beneath her.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So you guys traveling on the road, how did that go at the beginning? I mean, if that's totally new to her, that's understandable, but working together, being a partner in crime, I guess, and the relationship side, how did that go? Any trials, tribulations through that?
Oh, of course there was. There was definitely some learnings for both of us, but she was a trooper, and she put up with a lot. She still continues to put up with quite a bit. As you know, with any business, there's a lot of struggle, and every day is a new challenge.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. So now what she's doing now with the business, I'm assuming more on the admin side and bookkeeping and payroll and all that stuff. Is that what she's taking care of now?
Yeah, she basically takes care of everything administration from accounts payable to receivable to just reporting, all of that's quite a bit, And then there's a bunch of safety components with that. Obviously, we've got to keep our safety compliance top levels. So there's a bunch of that, and she does have help, obviously, but she kind of manages all that.
That's great. So you starting as a welder and not even uh and not really having a background in it, just kind of deciding to go ahead with that. What made you choose welding over anything else that you could have picked?
I didn't have a lot of references, to be honest. So I asked around a few people I knew, and I asked, I like to be creative. So I like to build stuff and work with my hands. And this was kind of seemed like the best fit, So that's just kind of what we went with. And luckily it worked out.
Yeah, mine's similar where I needed more beer. I needed more beer money, and that's where it kind of came to be. Was I just got thrown out, and someone said, "Hey, we're hiring here at the spoiler shop, and let's go from there." And so it's very similar on that side where I didn't have a background. So it's very that interests me a lot where guys come from and where they made that decision to go ahead. So let's maybe jump ahead a little bit where you guys decided to go into business together. You wanted to start scaling that. What skills did you, because obviously you knew how to do the trade, and now the business side is a totally different entity on its own and an animal on its own. So what skills and how did you manage that growth process through that?
Yeah, it's been quite the process, to be honest, because really anytime you double in size, you have to you have to totally reevaluate all your processes and systems. So, especially in the early stages where we had limited systems, limited processes, it was a steep learning curve, and we're still always learning. But basically, yeah, it's been from learning finance and some accounting and different taxes to HR to just really learning how to be a leader. There's a lot to it there because I'm very big in trying to develop people and have them be forward thinking. And the way, what I always say is we don't have any employees here. We all need to have team members, like I really work for them. They don't work for me.
Very cool. So was it more you just learned on your own through that process, or did you take any courses and that, or was it all just self-taught and kind of go with the flow? And
I didn't do any formal courses, like I didn't do an MBA or anything, but I do read a lot of books. So there's obviously, just from reading, you can get a lot of knowledge, Tony Robbins and all, there's so much access to information nowadays between books and podcasts and webinars. And, I've gained a lot of information over the past decade just doing that.
very cool. Yeah, that's one of mine. I'm not big on the formal education for lots of reasons. So it's good to know. And like you say, there's so many resources that are out there between YouTube, podcasts, guys that have gone through it and they've done it themselves and they're not just teaching something that they've never done.
Yeah, no, I totally agree to that. And I'd say my only advice would be on that is try to find somebody that's done what you've done and have the actual results for it. I think in this age, though, there can be a lot of coaches and a lot of mentors, and maybe they haven't actually built anything. So you just got to be a little bit weary of that. Find somebody that has proven results.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that's where I come with my clients. We go and I've learned a lot how to not do things the right or the wrong way. So that's a lot where it comes from. Yeah. Yeah. We had a motorcycle shop down in Lethbridge and we learned a lot through that. So definitely I appreciate that. And I like to say maybe not where guys are at not what they've done, but what they're able to bring to the table as far as where they're at. Yeah, let's put it that way. Where guys are at. If you want what they have, then maybe follow them.
Yeah, I think that's 100% accurate. And I think you can do that in all facets of life, whether that's fitness or finances or business. You really want to shoot for somebody that has your desired results in mind. And then copy what they're doing. And lots of the time, we don't have to create our own playbook from ground zero. Somebody's already done part of it or some of it, and we just got to kind of duplicate that.
Yeah. definitely. So we like to talk a lot on resilience and those types of trials that guys have gone through. You've been in business for how many years now, you said?
Uh, 15 years in total, so since
Yeah.
2000. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2008, you started right when there was a recession.
Yeah.
809, and then you went through the 2015 era, and now we're into another one now. So how have you been able to grow? I mean, 57 employees is no joke. So how have you been able to grow and keep growing through those areas when we do got those slowdowns?
Well, I think that's a good question. And I think starting off, with the 2008 housing crisis and everything, I didn't have a lot of options. So when you're starting off with kind of, say, a bit of a hardship to begin with, you don't take anything for granted, you know, always value hard work and also saving some money too. Don't spend every dollar and don't try to live below your means. I think that's always helped me succeed. Some other things, obviously 2015 was a bit of a slower time, like you were mentioning as well. And then the worst one ever was COVID. That 2020 to 2021 was super, super hard financially, emotionally, pretty much on all levels, business and personally. It was tough.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't imagine. So, I mean, coming from the fact that you are in business with your wife and now you're stuck at home essentially, or you're at the office there because it's your own business, so you can do whatever the heck you want essentially. But now you're confined with her for say 2 years almost, and and everything was a little bit slower. What got you through that area in time?
Yeah, it was super tough, honestly, and we were fortunate to retain all of our employees. Really, at that time, we were running less than 50% capacity, probably like 30% capacity. So we didn't have that many billable hours, but we kept guys on salary and we kept people. We wanted to retain these people because lots of our staff have been with us for 5 plus, some since like 2012. So they're really family members for us. So
Yeah, for you to be able to or keep the doors open with paying those guys, you would have had to manage your money pretty good up to that point, which is incredible.
yeah, we were, like I said, I was thankful. I've been saving money ever since I was small, and that's due to having a lot. Lots of people see what we've done now, and they think, it must be nice, or it'd be great to be where you're at now, but it doesn't. Really, my savings and my kind of it came from not having. So when you get a paycheck, or as a rig welder, even starting out, you get paid well. Let's not spend it all and do what your peers are doing. Let's live way below our means and put that towards future wealth building.
Yeah, I was that guy. I was that guy that you just described there, and it didn't bode well for me. Yeah. Coming through some slowdowns and then going through a divorce. Yeah, it basically just wiped right out like all those years. So that's one reason why I'm so adamant about what we talk about here and what we teach, is because we've done it and there is a different way to do it. And I appreciate you sharing where you came from and why you're so passionate about doing it. And it shows in with the growth of your company, which is something for others to strive for.
No, I really appreciate that. And I feel like our growth has been really organic. We're growing maybe 15 to 20% annually. We're trying to do it more naturally and trying to get the right people at the right time. And pretty much all of our hires have been referrals or people that we personally know in the industry. I think that's how we've been able to maintain our quality and our safety at such a high level. And really, we're not going to compromise that. We've had opportunities at times to maybe grow 40% in a year, but that would have definitely compromised quality and likely safety. And you just can't be doing that.
No, definite. And in today's landscape with with oil companies and the metrics of safety is a lot of what drives those bids now. If you don't have that safety record, you're not getting the job, even if you're maybe on par with everyone else with the bid. So it's tough.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. You got to focus on your KPIs or key performance indicators. know what you're lacking, know what you measure can be improved. And I believe in that with not just safety, with all aspects of what we do. So we're big on measuring everything and trying to get better. And at the end of the day, all these people have families and they got to go home safely and make some money. That's the whole point of what all of us are doing.
1,000%. And that's key for sure. So maybe as you were coming up through and growing the business, and it was growing that 15-20% per year, a lot of, you touched on it, was systems and processes. What was your strategy on first establishing those processes and then implementing them with the teams so they actually had buy-in? Is there a way that you can touch on that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm thankful. We've had a lot of people that work with us that are a lot smarter than me. And, especially with technology and different systems, that's not my strong suit, to be honest. So we've had people that have been, kind of the leaders in the project and implementation. And then we just try to give them the tools to succeed at whatever project we're trying to do. And, you don't have to be a subject matter expert in everything. Find the right person, get the right seat on the bus, and give them the right tools. And, lots of times they can do a better job than you can do.
Yeah. So that being said, if you were to take 2 months off and take off to Mexico, would your business keep running?
I wouldn't say it would be seamless. Like, I think it would operate, but it most definitely wouldn't be seamless at this point. There's definitely a hierarchy of controls that we need to get duplicate people for. Nobody in this line of work, being that we work 7 days a week, basically 24/7, it's a tall order to kind of have somebody replace my role for even a couple months.
No, that's fair. Is that ultimately the goal then, is to be able to get to that point where you would change from working in the business to being a business owner, that you're able to do that? Is that something that you're interested in?
Definitely trying to do somewhat of a transition from working in the business to on the business. So right now I probably do a 50-50 split of working in it to on it. On it being, we want to obviously optimize things and we want to gain more market share and get more target clients and obviously add more value to everyone involved. So it's right now, it's a split and there's obviously lots of room for improvement, but I don't really have any intentions of stepping away in the near future. And I'm really one of those people I've never had a month off. And I don't really, taking a bunch of days off for me isn't really what I enjoy. I like
Yeah.
building, I like creating, and I don't know, I kind of don't like standing still.
Yeah, or the same in that aspect for sure. So
Yeah.
I could definitely appreciate that. Yeah, there's always something going on, and there's always a fire to fight. That's what gets us out of bed in the morning sometimes, is that excitement.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you catch a little bit of momentum and have had a little bit of success, you want to keep that going because, that'll go find somebody else. If you're not the one putting in the work and really doing the results, I feel like that it can fade away. I've seen a few people, they've done a really good job for, even multiple years, and then they've kind of lost focus at what makes them a winning business. And then it goes to somebody else. So we definitely don't want to lose sight of that.
No, for sure. And in that area that you're in there, so the Grand Prairie, Dawson Creek, Fort St. John area, very competitive landscape there. So for you, what do you think one of your major value, or your value proposition, what is keeping you busier than most people right now when things are so slow in a lot of the industry?
I think we have lots of different values to add. We have some intrinsic value. We have great people that do a quality job. We have, I think, the finest fleet of equipment in this Peace region. Even our shop, all of our facilities is very well maintained and I think people respect you more and they take you more seriously when you have a quality setup and you really take pride in everything you do. You're not showing up with old equipment and just trying to get on to the next job.
Mm-hmm. Is there any is there any, oh, I'm at a loss for words. Is there any recommendations that you would give for guys that want to grow on either on the real estate side, they want to buy a building, they want to get into something new or buy some new equipment? What kind of strategies, if you're willing to share, that guys able to get into that and grow?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it all really starts with personal awareness. I think personal awareness is the first stepping stone to growth in any asset. That could be real estate, could be oil and gas. Because what you don't know or what you don't realize you're lacking on, how can you improve? So I think, say, let's take my business, for example. I'm very self-aware, and I feel like I know the things we're lacking in, and I'm actively trying to improve them and make them better. So I think when you know that, you can find the right people, you can search them out, and that's how you can grow.
That's perfect. Is there, I guess we started chatting a little bit when I was doing the tax sheltering stuff for guys and showing them that. Is there certain investment strategies you use with your business so that you can still grow the business while keeping that nut and having it grow? Is there, yeah, anything that you'd want to share on that side?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing I do, I'm sure you're familiar with dollar cost averaging. That's basically investing weekly, monthly, whatever your intervals are. But what I like to do, whether it's business or say the stock market, I try to really follow that dollar cost averaging model. And what that means to me is I'm basically taking a certain set investment, and whether the market's up, down, or indifferent, I'm just inputting that because I've allocated those resources. And I feel like the oil and gas sector is just like the stock market. It's volatile. It's all over the place. You can't ever predict, like I was saying, Q1 should be great, but things could change and it might not be. But my asset allocation for January is going to be the same regardless. That's the only way you can kind of keep pushing forward, because if you just wait for the next big job or the next, stock market big increase, you might be waiting forever.
No, I agree on that. I agree on that side. So that's where, so you do that in the business, you do dollar cost averaging within the business as well, or is that allocated differently than your personal?
I really try to do it very similar. The business and personally, we do pretty much the same thing. So we allocate. I try to do it bi-weekly. We have an allocation for spending, whether that's on the business side, new equipment purchases, tools, upgrades of trucks or what have you. And on the personal side, that's investing, usually in ETFs, index funds, stuff like that.
Okay, I love that. You're still investing, but you're investing into the things that the business needs to be able to grow.
Yeah, no, definitely. The business it's always needing something. We always need new trucks and equipment, and there's no shortage of spending here. We're always trying to upgrade, and we want to look good on site. I want the guys to feel good, and I want to be over tooled and over equipped as opposed to.
Uh, that's fantastic. I really love that. Is there, and I always, with business owners like yourself, I always like to come back to taxes. Is there any special thing that you'd want to share that lowers your taxes that guys might be able to take away and start implementing on their own?
I think, obviously that's a little bit of an accountant question because that's kind of specific to them. But there's definitely ways you can do. Obviously, if you contribute to RSPs, those reduce some taxes on a personal level. And there's different, keep track of, keep your cell phone receipts. There's different parts there that you can do for write-offs there, even on a personal level. If you're take your slip to your employer, and they can often find some things there, like certain tools or equipment that they've maybe had to purchase personally, they can take to their accountant as well.
Very cool. Oh, that's good. And then I guess, do you got any special strategies for purchasing equipment?
We have multiple vendors that we like using. So we have a certain, say, rig up, whether it's a welding truck or a picker truck, and we pretty much do the identical rig up on everyone. So if you've ever seen our fleet, they're all matches. It's very much the same. And I like that. It's kind of, we look uniform on site, and it looks professional. So we definitely liked it all.
Okay. Oh, that's good. That's good. If you do you do 5-year plans, 10-year plans, that sort of thing, or are you going more year to year?
I do quite a bit of different stuff, to be honest. I break it down right from quarterly to annually to 5-year. I think 5 years is our biggest outlook right now because it's hard to kind of plan past that. But yeah, we have some big goals, and obviously I have a big vision, and we want to. I think why that's important is you gotta cast a big vision to make sure all of your people are included in your vision. That was one thing I was maybe lacking years ago was I was thinking more of just what my focuses were and my objectives were. And now I try to cast a pretty big vision and make sure our whole team is included in it. I think you need to cast a big enough vision that everyone has a fit and purpose and can grow within your business. We have quite a few entrepreneurs. They maybe don't own the business, but they really own a sector of the business and they control them.
I love that. Where in a lot of businesses that I've seen and followed, a lot of entrepreneurs can make more money than the owner, to be honest, if done the right way.
100% true. Even for ourselves, we have some key individuals that make both more than me and my wife's salary, and they're compensated well, and they have lots of room for opportunities. And yeah, we're very thankful for those people.
No, that's so good. And it goes back to the guys that I coach, contractors and stuff like that. I always bring it back to the entrepreneurial operating system, if you've seen that. So it's called EOS, and it breaks down 10-year to 5-year to 3-year targets. And then from there down to 1 year and then quarterly, which they call rocks. So 3 to 5 things that need to happen that quarter to be able to push the business forward. But it's all tied to the vision of the owner or the visionary in that company. So it breaks it down really granular. That it starts, like you say, it casts that big net. So now at every weekly meeting, the team is now focused on where they need to go in the next 90 days, but it's all based on that vision that the owner has for the future.
I think that's great. I love that. I think having achievable targets and having a direction in how to get there is really key. And, I think that's really great. You can help others do that. And, I kind of trying to do that myself. I'm not necessarily coaching people, but I'm definitely trying to produce content and add value to others and just try to help them do the best job they can do.
No, and I think that's why we connected here is because a similar journeys, different way. And it's so great when you're showing people what I like too, and you do a lot of it on social media, is you're basically showing people in some ways what you're doing not behind the curtain, but you're showing how you're growing. And people are following that journey, which is incredible.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I think sometimes if you're a little bit vulnerable with people and you actually share the good, the bad, the ugly, you share all of it, you're authentic and you actually, being in business is the hardest thing you can do. I forget the exact metrics, but, especially on startups, the failure rates, I think in the high 90%. So it's very tough. And I don't try to hide the fact of how tough it is. It really is. It takes everything you got.
It is. Yeah. It's throwing around that 90% for sure. And that's why I'm encouraging a lot of guys right now, because there's so many people either getting out of the business or they're retiring, or they just want out of the business, different reasons, personal reasons. So a lot of businesses are for sale right now, and those are the ones that you want to scoop up, or they have an existing clientele, they have existing employees, and you can now make that business better and make it your own instead of having to start grassroots and going through those trials and everything that you've gone through and successfully done, but it easily could have went the other way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've had business failures. We currently have a mechanic shop as well, but my first mechanic shop that we started, it didn't work out for various reasons. And it was a huge learning, but I think anytime you fail, if you fail forward, you're going to get a lot of learning and just keep moving forward, right?
What would be your biggest learning from the mechanics shop there?
Well, there was a few learnings for sure. So that business, I'm not a mechanic by trade. That's not my specialty. And I would say one of the big learnings with that is, relying on people 100% to do what they're supposed to do. And you don't have the knowledge to know if they're doing it correctly or incorrectly. And I think that's a problem. As an owner or founder, you really have to know all components of the business. Because then you can see, okay, this part's, let's say, sales, marketing, whatever the case, that's slipping or not. But when you don't know what you don't know, it just, unfortunately, you find out the hard way.
You do. And that's massive. And I talk a lot about that on my own journey and to my clients as well, is that's what I've done. I've went in and physically done the marketing side. So on a pretty high scale, other things. So everything from building presentations to sales calls, and then other parts of the business, I've done it. So you know how hard it is, so that even when you get a price from somebody else, if you're outsourcing it, you know if it's legit or not. But then it's also, are they actually giving you the value that they said that they would give you? And you should know that within a few months. But if you haven't done it, that process can go on for a long time until you realize that this shit is not working.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's great advice. And you can use that in any, like you said, whether that's marketing or sales or just doing the physical services themselves, right? So
oh yeah. I'm not going to jump in there and try to rebuild an engine. That's totally not me. But but that it is so valid. If you don't know, you can get taken through the ringer with guys that are saying they can do the things, but they really don't know. So I appreciate that, you sharing that.
And I think with whatever you're doing, whether you're just a worker or an owner or whatever you're trying to do, I think what you focus on is huge. I think setting the proper intention and focusing on positive things, because you can focus on positive or negative, and both will get you some form of results. Obviously, the positive's always better. So focus on the controllable things you can do. I see this so often, whether it's with our own people or just in the general public, they're watching, what's the election doing? What's the government doing? I don't know, whatever, some outside circumstance. And don't let that control your life. Control the things you can do. Focus on being healthy, working out, control the finances you can control, and ultimately you get a lot better results that way.
Yeah, personal accountability. That's all you can control. And that's what I talk a lot about as well. And it's so true, is when you start taking ownership of that, all the other stuff is just noise. It really is. And it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's the prime minister, who's the president of the United States. There's opportunity everywhere. And when you start looking inside yourself and growing, you're able to now see those other opportunities when they present themselves and be able to have the skill set to be able to jump on those.
Yeah, no, I really like that. And I think you can really, the more in tune you get with yourself, if you know what the RAS is, like reticular activating system, that's basically your brain's filter. And I've really fine-tuned mine. So it only focuses on the things I want to achieve or the goals that I have. The rest of it, I really don't even see the world going on. It's weird, but it's definitely kept my focus.
Yeah, that probably helped through COVID and everything. And probably one of the reasons why you kept the doors open and kept running with it after.
Yeah, no, I really think so. There's that old saying, ships don't sink until there's water in the boat. So if you don't let any water being whatever that negative influence is, if you can keep that outside the boat, may not be going exactly where you want to go, but you're not sinking.
Yeah. So it goes back to that purpose and everything too. So once you have that purpose, it's really hard to get off track when you're focused on that guiding light. Call it the lighthouse in a lot of what I described. So it's really cool. What's what's next here? What can we see Any big things coming out of next year with Dark Ark?
Well, we would like to keep expanding with the current services that we're offering, the pipe fitting and the welding, and we're starting to get into a little bit of dirt work. So that's excavators and dozers. And even on the rental side, we may be doing dry rent on those as well. And just hopefully being able to expand with we got some great clients right now and would like to expand with them and just keep doing what we're doing at the highest level and kind of see what else brings. We're doing a little bit of aviation stuff, which is a totally new business component, which has not proven a lot of results yet, but we're working towards it.
I can't wait to see more of that. That really intrigues me.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, the kind of the aviation. So we just started a helicopter kind of bit of a division here, and we're using it for some hot shots and surveying, and we're going to hopefully be helping out with fire, different stuff like that. So it's really a passion of mine, and we'll see. Hopefully it turns into something.
Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. So as we log off here, what would be any recommendations that you would give to guys that either starting a business right now? Let's keep it to that. Yeah. Guys that are wanting to get into the industry, but have their own show. What would be your biggest recommendation to guys at this?
I think first off, if you work twice as hard, you get twice the results. So meaning with any business, don't think it's going to be easy. And, social media can be bad for that, making it look like, a get rich quick of some nature. And it's really not that. So you got to put in the results, do the delayed gratification. And it may take 5 years, it may take 10 years, but if you keep putting in the work, eventually you're going to win.
Perfect. Oh, that is so good. Where delayed gratification is something that's huge in my world right now. I put a lot of stuff off waiting for the other, but I also like to add to that is look on a longer, to tie into your statement, is look on a longer time horizon. You don't know. It's just like fitness. You don't know when you're going to lose 10 pounds. You don't know when you're going to lose 20 pounds or put another 50 pounds on the bar, whatever that is. You don't know how long that's going to take. And the same is with business. You don't know when that's going to take off for you, but eventually it's going to hit. And it might not be with this business, but it might be with the next one, depending on where you're going. So don't be afraid to fail is what I would add to that as well.
Yeah, I really like that. Put in the reps, preparation meets opportunity. Opportunity can lead to success. So
fantastic. So yeah, I personally, I'm excited to see where Dark Ark goes and how you're growing, and definitely your social media. So anyone, if they're looking for you on social media, what are they looking for?
So it's Dustin Kucher on LinkedIn, Facebook, and then Dark Ark Welding for our website, Instagram, anything like that.
Okay, perfect. And if anyone's needing any of those services, make sure you reach out. And I'm sure if you got any questions, if you're going through some little trials and tribulations along the way, shoot Dustin a message. I'm sure he'll get to you at some point, and happy to help.
Yeah, no, I'd love to answer any questions and definitely just try to help the community and help us all move forward.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate your time on a Sunday here, and I'm sure you got a bunch of phone calls that you got to get back to and emails.
Yeah, well, thanks a bunch, Nick, and all the best.
I appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
That's it for today's episode of One More Boom Podcast. Remember, you're part of a community that doesn't settle for the status quo. Here, we push boundaries, support each other, and thrive under pressure. Whether you're out in the field or leveling up your career, we've got your back. Stay connected, stay driven, and keep embodying the grit of a different breed. Until next time, keep pushing forward. Together, we'll achieve more. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode of One More Boom.